All right, so just get yourself a bit of room. We're just starting with the head, so just rotating, very long, gentle rotations. Really feel the stretch up the back of the neck. Pull down with the shoulders as well, and the shoulder blades, that will help increase the stretch, and the other way. Hands on shoulders. I'm not, yeah, okay. And just rotations. So big circles. And the other way. Just pulling it across the body. So keeping the shoulder down. Other way. So feet apart, just gently turning around your center, so you're just loosening up your torso. Doesn't have to be far.
Hey, MJ.
Just muting Michael's one for a moment because I was coming through a bit. So just rotating these the other way now. Just round. Just gentle. And if you need something to lean on or hold on to, just gentle swings for that leg. So you can grab onto a chair or a table if you need to. And other side. Feet apart, just bending into it. Bit of side to side. Rotating the shoulder. Other side. Just taking the hands out. So palms out, reaching up above the head. Just pulling up. And last exercise is just kind of warming up our arms, our legs, and our core. So you're going to take your knee to your elbow. You're going to keep your posture upright as you do so. So you're pulling them together and then changing over. Try and pick up the pace a little bit if you can. And just shake it all out. Now I'll just check with you, was the audio clear enough through this, or is it still a bit iffy? Oh, Michael, I can't hear you at all, sorry.
Yeah, the sound's good.
How about you for you, Roger? Was it okay when I was standing back there?
Yeah, when it's good, it's good. It's just, sometimes it just seems to stop working for like a minute.
I'll just try and project while we do things. Let me know if it does start.
And then randomly it stopped.
Ouyo or Michael?
Well, Michael also stopped, which almost made me think it might be my feed, but then, yeah.
No, I was messing around with something, but it's okay.
Yeah, but yeah, your audio's just something, yeah, sort of perfect. You didn't move, and it stopped for 60 seconds as far. So
I can set up off my phone as well, which, considering the situation, may end up being the better solution. So if you just give me, if you want to grab your mokuju, just start doing some basic nita, tuta, so basic ski strike, standing in position, and just focusing on keeping the front arm relaxed, keeping the back elbow open, and making sure it's coming over the heart. So just start off slowly, warming it up, and I'll join you in a second.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully you can hear the audio of this one a little bit better.
That's good.
All right. Can you hear me okay now
Yes.
with this? All right. Good. So, I have way too many contraptions. Okay. So I'm just going to stop the video feed off this one. There we go. So I only get one of me, which is probably for the best, all things considered. All right. So are you feeling a little bit warmer upper body wise? Nitha Twitter? Yep. Okay. All right. So we're just going to do some sort of mate ski. So just do pretty much the basic strike. But what we're doing is going mate ski. So just a single forward mate ski. Getting me? So just checking out your zone, making sure that's all clear. Make sure that back foot's coming along with you. Two more. So we're going to look at Ura Harai. Ura. So again, this is more of an imagination exercise or a visualization exercise. So starting here, imagine someone's pushed you open. So they've opened up your chokdots. So you're going to be, sorry, you've pushed open their chokdots, so they opened up. They push back, you're coming in underneath. So you need to be thinking about being pushed off center. So your tensons move towards your left, covering or opening up here. And so you need to bring it just slightly down and around, creating that little semicircle smile effect underneath before you do your ski. So rather than coming straight on, it's down and around. So thinking about the spiral it's creating. One more. So one thing that we don't normally do in training is ura harai from the other side. So normally we think about ura harai as coming in underneath the arm, but basically ura is just about coming underneath or switching the sides. So if someone's opened out this way, you can reverse the strike. So they've opened up here, you can come underneath and come in for chokotsu rather than ura. Omote rather than ura, that is. So if you think back now, it's being pushed to your right, coming the other way. Two more. Any questions about ura harai on either side? We're pretty good with those.
It takes a minute or two to get your head around doing it the other way. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's good practice to have, simply because you can't always, obviously, have someone in the right position. So if they pushed you off center, you know, it's nice to be able to have the practice of coming into underneath and hitting omote instead. So I just want to talk about some of the openings that you have as the motodachi. So Roger, Roger, you've done plenty of these. Marco, you've done a fair bit of this as well. But I just want to talk about what we're trying to show. So if we're acting as a motodachi for omote, really just thinking about more of a tenuch movement. So it's not that we're opening out really wide. Literally locking the hand in tenuch should provide enough of an opening for omote. When we're coming for ura, all we're doing is making sure that we're pushing horizontally across. It's really easy to want to go up, but that's for shita. So just bearing in mind that all you want to do is come straight across and again, create that nice clean opening. When we're coming for shita, it's obviously really important that you get your elbow out of the way. You don't want to get that smacked. So for shita, when they come in, normally what you do is starting from here, make sure you're coming up, pushing them up on a diagonal so that they can come underneath. And then as they make the strike, make sure you're rotating the hand over and the elbow to create that opening. And the more you set your hami to the flat or to the side, the bigger opening get there and less chance of getting hit underneath. Kote isn't one we do very often, but in terms of kote, all you're really doing is making sure your wrist is in front of your heart. So locking in there. There's a bit of extra padding in the Jukendo kote, which will help with that. But you do want to make sure that all you're really doing is protecting your heart. You're sacrificing your wrist for your heart. Nodo. So I was talking about openings, wasn't I? But yeah, so that's the opening for kote, so they know what they're going for. For nodo, generally it's just dropping and opening out slightly so they can actually see nodo. So just making sure that when you're acting as the uchi for anything that you are providing a really clear target point. So that was completely off topic, but I think it's also something I have meant to talk to you all about for a while. We haven't done a lot of motodachi work. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do daiichi kyoshu. So omote, ura, shita. So we're just doing 5 strikes. And I want you to think about what the motodachi would be showing you, or what they'd be doing in each one. So for us, we're starting in mine, going straight into mote. So all you're really doing is just pushing past their lockjaw. But as you pull back, they're pushing in towards you, they're going to be opening you up. So they're going to be pushing around, so you need to come around for ura. And then as you pull back, come around again for a mote. So we're doing that ura harai from the other side. And again. And then the final one, shita is just that little bit lower. So shita really only changes that you're dropping down a few centimeters, really. But you need to be visualizing what the motodachi is doing, which is starting here. They're opening up slightly for you. They're pushing you back, so you're coming underneath. They're pushing you back, so you're coming again with ura. They push back for ura. For shita, they're creating that opening. So I need you to see what it is they're doing so that when you're practicing, you can see what you're targeting. So just doing a bit of Daiichi Kyoshu. If you've got room, you can walk it forward. But mote, ura, mote, ura, shita, retreat, mote, ura, mote, ura, shita. One more time. Mote, ura, mote, ura, shita. Bearing in mind with Daiichi Kyoshu, generally what's happening is they're physically pushing you, so you're not necessarily coming back to Churan, but it's a little bit harder when you don't have your partner. Again, you can do the same thing with Noro, doesn't really change anything much. It's just that your opening as a motodachi will literally be just sort of opening up this way. So I'm just going to check the time because that's always important. Okay. Any questions about those particular basics? I think you're both pretty well comfortable with those, but
No, it's a good pattern to redo because it's been a few weeks since we've done it, I think. Yeah.
okay. So the last thing we'll do before we switch to Tanken is I'm trying to think of word. It'll come back in a minute.
Where we move and then strike and then move again?
That's the one that my brain cannot get right now. So basically this is, you can do it for pretty much any strike. So it's coming from my, ya, retreat, ya, for ski nagashi. So the first one is coming in, ski, retreat, 2 or 3 steps, no more than 5, and then coming in for ski nagashi. Now, if we're doing this just a chokutotsu or a mote, we're going to be coming slightly off to the side when we do it. So, as I said, we'll do this as a mote. So coming in, so each, yeah, slightly off, come back up that angle. Yeah. So your angle is going to change slightly on both. But make sure that you're driving them in a direct line, especially on ski nagashi. Don't corvette around to do ski nagashi. So, yeah. Yeah. And watch. Good. Good.
It's hard to get angles here.
Yeah, you've got a much narrower area to work through. But those are good. Those are nice. For anyone who's actually going to end up watching the video, though, who knows how many people actually do. So both of you are doing it really nicely. You're keeping it on target with ski nagashi, you're not dropping it. So it's a really nice pressure off those ones. Variant for that one is obviously the harais or ura. So if we're doing it, treating it as harai ski, which I always quite enjoy. So coming in on the line, you don't need to step off on this one. It's harai ski, retreat, Right, ski. So yeah, you don't need much in the way of an angle, if anything at all. The harai should be taking care of that. So again, just thinking about driving it forward, make sure your footsteps coming back are clean, that you're not sort of bouncing too much, and that the kensen is on target up to the point you withdraw for your zanshin. So just some harai technique. Good. Good. Nice. The only thing I'd say is just be careful with the harai. Make sure it's not going too far past center. It's obviously a lot harder when we don't have a partner, but make sure you're not treating your harai like that you're thinking about. So when your hand basically comes back from the harai to the hip, that's where it should pretty much stop. So don't let it keep going past the body. So think back from here, hit the hip and hold. Hit the hip and hold rather than through, because it's a lot harder to get it back on center there. So even just practicing that without the harai, any movement, just coming into chudan. So harai to notch as it comes back to the hip and back to chudan. And it'll make it much easier for you to go straight into ski because you're basically on center. Obviously, it's hard to tell with the angles. They look like they were dropping in the original ones, which is the only reason I kind of brought that one up.
Yeah. Might have been the momentum that we were getting too, you know. It sort of draws you in.
People get very enthusiastic with these kinds of exercises. I do too. And it's really easy to lose technique. But even in gradings, when you do this, they don't expect you to necessarily go fast. They want to see you do it well. So it's more about the technique than the speed. All right. Hey, Kaylin, good to see you. So we'll do maybe one more round of these exercises, and the name will come back to me probably after we finish class. So this time thinking about coming from ura, and this one's a lot harder than in many ways. So you're coming in, you need to come underneath and come slightly off to the side to your right. So it's not a position or a step that we normally do. So if you imagine coming straight in, you're stepping out to the right, which is counterintuitive. That's not how you would normally get there. So coming in, ura harai, coming out, stepping in, ura harai, and again, you're going to be changing those angles. You're going to have to angle up to hit the target. So take this one a little bit slower if you have to. Good. All right. Okay.
Variety there.
Yeah, so that one's it's not one we've commonly done, even when we've been working face to face. But it's always worth remembering that you can do these techniques with pretty much any target point. So it's just learning to work from your opportunities. So it's good to do it from ones we don't normally do because it's like naginata. Technically, we can do everything on the other side. We generally don't practice it that way though. That's why every time I make you do kata in reverse, everyone gets a little bit brain fuzz. So what we're going to do now is just grab a drink if you need to. We're going to switch over to Tanken because I want to look at the Bokto versus Tanken kata. And I do apologize, I am moving a little bit slower than normal today. I had an incident while walking my housemate's dog, so I can't have very grazed hands and knees and bruises. So, just a little bit stiff in the hands and the knees at the moment. Okay.
Are the hands
So,
bruised?
sorry?
Are you bruised? Are you bruised?
My knees are. Because I landed on my knees and then caught myself on my hands.
Yeah.
This hand at the time was carrying a bag full of dog poop, so I'm just really glad that didn't split and just go into all the grazers. Because that would have been unpleasant.
Yuck.
So, yes, that was that happened about 40 minutes before this class. So just a little bit slow at the moment. Okay, so out of the three of you, who's done all the Tai To with me? 'Cause I can't remember.
Yeah, I think we did it. Yeah. I think we did it. Yeah.
Other ones? Okay. So I want to work through all of them. I've got my notes, and I don't know if any of you did any little notes of your own. But what I want to do is basically walk through all of the kata, all these 6 kata. So obviously doing it the box side is the more dull side for the first 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Bokto side for the first 3 kata, and then I'll take the Tanken for the second 3 kata, because I want you to see it from the Shikata side, basically. So if you grab your Tanken, or Kodachi. So, to reiterate, Ipponme. So if you're working with Tanken, your job is to basically wait until you see me tense up. Because you'll always start in Irami and Geidan for most part. So you'll be in Irami as when I've gone down to Geidan. Your job, once you see me tense up at Mai, is you're going to suppress the Bokto down and then move in for Nodo. Then it's Hikinuki and a small Zanshin. So one big step out, small step in to Mai. So that's all it is for Ippon. So if we're starting, so bowing in, 9 steps away. So I'll go down together. You'll come into Itrudan Irami. We'll walk in, I'll start bringing my Bokto up. Ich, ni, san. I tense up. Suppress it down, Nodo. Hikinuki, so big step back. And then a small step covering my hands. I bring this back to center. Both come down together. And we retreat. So we'll do that one more time. Back up to Twitter. I drop together. You're in Irami. Ich, ni, san. I tense. Breath. Back to center. Get up and retreat. So number 1, any questions about number 1 at all? No?
I hadn't written down the notes to suppress downwards, so I'll have to add those. Yep.
That's right. I just made notes to me that made sense to me, so they should give you a fairly good idea, hopefully, of the key points. But Ippon is fairly easy. It's just remembering what you're trying to do. So the idea with suppressing down is you're creating that opening. Because we've basically come to Mai, and you're using the opportunity of me going, eat, and not quite making it into another movement. To go, okay, I'm going to get your sword out of the way. That leaves Nodo nice and clear. So that's what you should really be thinking about is, I'm opening you up to come straight into Nodo. It's quite fast footwork for the Tanken because it's suppressed and you don't want to give them a chance to pull it away or move it around or Mukagaeshi. You need to go down and then straight up into Nodo basically. So it's not like a long held suppression. It's suppress and then pretty much coming straight up into Nodo once you've shown that you have suppressed the weapon. Bokto side is very, very easy. You saw it. I just start in Gedan, I walk in, I tense up, and that is it. That's all the Bokto side is doing. So Nihome. So this one is about, this is one of your Seitai kata. So we'll both walk in again, same kamae. I'll be slightly out of distance, so I'm going to shorten my distance. You're going to step in and suppress to your right. So you're going to push my bokto to your right. I'm going to step back and come in for do. When I come into thrust at do, you're going to suppress it the other way, diagonally to the left. Seitai do, grabbing my left elbow. And then it's a cautious withdrawal. So, starting back here, again. I'm down in Gedan, you're in Irimi. We're coming, ich, ni, san, it's a short distance. So you come in and you suppress to your right. So you push my bokto to the right. I pull back, and as I come for do, you're going to suppress left and diagonally down. Then you're going to come in, Seitai do, grabbing my left arm, and stab. And then a cautious withdrawal. Gedan, and retreat. And again, so go Gedan and Irimi. Ich, ni, san. You suppress to the right. I step back, I go for do. Chudan, Gedan, retreat. Okay. Yep. Actually, I just want to ask a question. Is my camera reversed for you? So if I hold this up, does this, if I'm in, say, I need to, if I have my bokto, Kanken, does this look like I'm on the right side if you were pairing with me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah? Okay, so I don't need to mirror it? Okay, good. Sorry, I'm just checking because I've got two different devices running and one's telling me something different. Okay, so any questions about number 2?
No, I think it's fine at the moment.
Yeah. Basically, you're creating an opportunity, and then when I respond, you take another opportunity. So it is really that you're trying to control the bokto in this one. You're taking all the initiative. I'm just responding. So you push me out of the way. As I come in, you then respond again. So it's very much driven by you as the shikata. As you can see, the bokto side, very, very basic. Coming in, as you suppress me, I move out of the way, basically straight backwards, and a direct thrust to do. And that's all there is to it. All right, some more math. Love the notes. So again, I come in on a short mai, so there's maybe a half step between us when we reach mai. In this one, you're going to suppress down again. So like the first one, you're going to suppress down. I step back, coming into waki. I come over from men. And this is where you're going to suppress. This is where it gets a bit of an interesting one. So you're going to cross block, grab my left wrist, and then do fumikaeshi, irimi seitai, and then a careful withdrawal. So just going over the wrist position for me. So literally what's happened is you've come down, you've suppressed down. I've stepped back with the bokto. I've come over from men. You need to be prepared for this because what you do is when you step in and block, you need the left hand to come in this cross position. And basically that means both your wrists are facing forward and you need to think about this hand coming up and wrapping here. If you have it this way, it's a really weak grip. If you have it this way, both wrists, both elbows and forearms are all pushing forward. So you have to have that come up in that side. So you suppress down, I step back in waki, I come over for men, lock. So you lock that position there. You grab my left wrist, fumi kaeshi, do, and then cautious withdrawal. So just practice that hand changeover or that grip, because you want that to be centered over your head. Because remember, this is, I'm coming straight down for your men at this point. So you need to think about where you're going to be stopping my tsuba. Yeah. So yeah, it's very easy to mistime this one. So you really need to be thinking about what's coming. So if we start from our mic, I'm in gedan, you're in irimi. Ich, ni, san. So I brought mine up. You're going to suppress it downwards. So suppress down. I step back. Waki, men. You're going to grab my left wrist. Fumikaeshi. So one thing I've got to know is when you do the left wrist and the fumikaeshi, you're actually pulling me down. I should have mentioned that bit. So yeah, so you're grabbing this left wrist, you're pulling it down, and then you're stabbing anywhere in the torso. It does not specify exactly where. All it says is torso, which is about the only time it's been really unspecific about the location. And that's mostly because when you pull this down, it's a really hard thing to say, go for mote, chokutotsu, shita. You're just trying to stab me. That's all there is to it. So think about when you grab that left wrist, you do your fumikaeshi, pulling that wrist down, opening up my torso for you to do ski. This one I think is actually quite a fun one once you get used to it. So let's come back to mine. So I'm in gedan, you're in irimi. Ich, ni, san. You're going to step and press down. Back, come in for men. Grab left wrist. Pull it down as fumikaeshi. Stab me. And then cautious withdrawal. Yeah, done. And retreat. Good. Any questions about 3? No?
No, only that it's so the attack, the strike to your torso is over the top then of your left arm.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Going back to all the pretty pictures that
It
Alex
sounds about right. It looks
did.
right.
So yeah, basically it pulls the uchikata down while performing and stabbing him in the torso. Is literally what it says. So it looks as, I don't know if you can see.
Yep.
That.
Makes sense. Yep.
It's quite a low drop or low pull on there. And I think what's actually happening is they're coming in, because this is getting dropped down, it's more, you've pulled my left wrist down here and coming over here. But it is also just going to depend, I think, on where you've ended up pulling them down to. So I'm just going to go with let's stab them in the torso and we'll work it out when you've got an actual partner. But I believe that is what's happening, is you're taking them out of commission, because if you pull them down this way, their bokuto is nowhere near you and you're controlling this wrist. So you pulled it down and to your left, opening that up. But actually, I quite like the block on that one. That's a nice block for the Fidachi. All right, any questions on that one, or otherwise pretty good? Yeah. All right, so this time I'm going to get you to swap over. You're going to grab your bokuto, because now you get the shikata side for 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so number 4. Still gedan and irimi. Basically, when we come into mai, so I'm not sure if Roger's back yet. There we go. So for number 4, Tanken, once we come to mine, I'm going to suppress to your left, but tense up. So it's almost if I'm about to make an attack, but I failed to complete. So I will push your Bokto to your left, leaving myself open. You're going to step diagonally right back, so back into your right, and then come in for Nodo. So I have too many weapons in my hand. So yes, so as you come in, I push you to your, suppress to your left. I step diagonally back to my right, and then straight through to Nodo. Hikinuki, small zanshin, and retreat. My roll's much easier. I just suppress to the right and tense up. So, put it back up there. So again, starting at our normal distance, you go down into Gedam. I cover you with Irimi. You come in, Ich, Ni, San. So I'm going to push your Bokto to your left, and I'm going to tense up. You're going diagonally right and back, Nodo. Big Hikinuki backwards, small Zanshin in, and then I return us to center. Gedam, retreat. And once more. So you would be down in Gedam. I'll go to Irimi. Ich, Ni, San. I open up, tense up. Good. Back to center. Gedam. Retreat. Any questions on number 4?
Just when you drive forward for ski, are you driving forward on a left foot first, forward?
I suspect Roger's probably the better one to answer that one, but I'll check the book while he unmutes.
I keep your same foot forwards normally on a
Yeah.
ski.
It does look like that, so
Okay.
If they're running away, take the bigger step and step through. But normally,
Yeah, it looked like it felt right to do an akuriash on the left
Yeah.
foot forward. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
I keep my right foot forward all the way through this. So which is why going back to the right is weird.
Yeah. Because I know there are a couple of kata where they specifically mention which foot the Bokto is using. So otherwise, I'm going to go with the traditional kendo version, which is normally that right foot. So that should be fine. Any other questions about that one? Pretty good? Okay. All right. And you can see the Tanken side very easy. It's just push it to the right, create that opening. That's all that happens. So number 5. Not a lot to this one. So short Mai again. I suppress downwards on your Bokto. You're going to step diagonally back to your right again, and you're going to come in for men and with a cautious withdrawal. So once it gets suppressed, step back, men cut from the look of it. And I'll just check if there are any further details on that one, because that's, again, being the kendo side, it's not the one I am best at. Yeah. So yeah, stepping forward with the right foot for the men strike again as well. So if you really just think about it, so you come in, I've pushed you down, you step out to your right, men. And that one is also a cautious withdrawal backwards. So I don't think there was anything special about the withdrawal on that. Yeah. So basically when you withdraw from the men cut, it's just a cautious withdrawal. So just keeping the pressure as you bring it back down to Chudam. So it's not going to the throat. It's just slowly keeping the pressure as you bring it down. Okay. So, from a distance, the world looks blue and green. And you go down into Geda, and I come to Irimi. Go ich, ni, san, and suppress downwards. You step back into your right. Come up to Jodan, Menka. Cautious withdrawal, drawing down my face, down through my center. We'll come back to Chudan, Gedan, and retreat. Okay, so you're in Gedan. I respond with Irimi. Ich, ni, san. I suppress down. You back to the right. Menkat. Cautious withdrawal, keep the pressure on. You're done. And withdraw. You're done. Any questions on 5?
Roger's probably going to ask what's all the screeching going on? Sounds like Laura Keats, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Lots of birds back here. They're very, very happy. I should probably stop feeding them. Okay, so number 6. So for you, you're actually going to start in Hidari Jodan. So where you'd normally be in Chudan, you're going to step forward with the left foot, come up into Hidari Jodan, and that's where you'll begin. I'll respond by pointing towards your wrist in a high irimi. We come to Mai. I'll actually step in when we reach Mai and put pressure towards your left wrist. Your response is again diagonally to the right and a menkat. And then what you're going to do is you're going to draw it down to my eyes and then step back into Hidari Jodan. A bit like in Tan Kai Tan. So you start in normal Chudan, step forward with your left foot into Hidari, ich, ni, san. I'll put pressure on this left wrist. You'll step back to the right, men. Draw it down towards the eyes, and then back into Hidari Jodan before retreating back to center. I'm just going to check the wording on that one, because that one is, again, one of those ones I'm not entirely comfortable with yet. Yeah. So again, presumably you're stepping in from Hidari Jodan, right foot attack, and then coming back into Hidari Jodan. Unless, Roger, unless I've got that completely wrong.
That's my instinct, but that doesn't mean that the kata's like that.
Again, in this one, because they haven't said the specific foot, they just said while stepping in, I'm going to go with its traditional kendo style, because I know in one of the Mokuju versus Bokto, they specifically say the right foot when it isn't the most intuitive one normally. So yeah, I'd go with that as well. All right, so you start at distance. You go up into Hidari Jodan, so step forward left foot, Hidari Jodan. I respond by pointing up towards your wrist. We come in 3 steps, ich, ni, san. I pressure your left wrist. You're going to step out to the right and back, and then men. Draw it down towards my eyes. When you hit there, come back in Hidari Jodan. And we return to center. Get on. And retreat. Okay. So again, you go into Hidari Jodan. High irimi from me. Ich, ni, san. I pressure your wrist diagonally to the right, menkat. Down to my eye line, and Hidari Jodan. Both return to center. Get on, and retreat. All right. So you've done the shikata side for all the 6 kata. And that's obviously the most complex side of it. The uchi side, if I look at my notes for uchi, what do I have? Suppress down and nodo. Sorry, no. Tense up. Step backwards and do do. Waki men. The uchi side for this is actually really simple. It's just providing the right openings. So I think it's much more important for you to do the shikata side because that's also the more interesting side to do anyway. Do you have any questions about any of them, 1 through 6 at all that we haven't covered or anything new that's come to you?
I think the complex part of it's the 3rd technique for the bokdo. It's that one where we drop, the bokdo gets pressured back and attacked for Aji.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good. I like it. It's quite nice.
Yeah. And that's in the Mokju versus Tanken, I think. Yes. Mokju versus Bokdo. There's some really interesting techniques in the Jutai tool set.
Yeah. It's in this one as well. So,
not in this one. Not in this one. This one's actually pretty straightforward for the Bokdo side.
Doesn't it get what happens with the
No,
bokdo?
number 3. What happens for number 3 is we step back, come into waki, and come over
Yes.
to men.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Yeah.
So I believe, and Roger, feel free to correct me, you'll be dropping down to your right, coming over for men.
Yep.
Sound about right to you, Roger?
Yeah, I mean, strictly speaking, wacky, you should have the blade behind you. But
Yeah.
in this case, it doesn't really matter that much because it's not like you're really trying to hide the blade length of that or any length of time. You just go through it to get to a cut. But it should be slightly more,
I mean, I'm having to go from the techniques in the book. Obviously, I'm not a kendo player, so I'm always going to ask Roger or Eduardo for their particular take on those as well.
Yeah.
Especially when the book is not being any more specific about it. The assumption is you know kendo, which is problematic for me and for a few of us. But based on the images in the book as well, it is very much just, you're really just trying to get it out of the way because they're suppressing down on that one. So what's happening is you're trying to drop it from underneath as you come over. And again, none of this has to be fast. It's about getting the technique right rather than the speed. So, but having said that, that's actually all 5 sets of kata. So technically everyone's done all 5 sets. What I'm going to be starting to do is try and do 1 set each session at least.
Yeah.
Whether it's Jutai Ju, Tantai Tan, Jutai Tan, Tantai To, Jutai To. Just so that we are getting a regular rotation of them all.
Yep.
I will also say if you're planning to come to a session and there's a particular set you want to do, let me know. Just let me know in advance and we'll focus on that one. Because I don't want to lose the habit of them. And obviously with the ones that aren't the Jutai Ju and Tantai Tan, we're not as familiar with them. I haven't really gotten you guys to do the uchi side yet, or not a lot of it. So we need to build up that side of the repertoire too. So no, hopefully by the time we all get out of lockdown, wherever we are, we'll know all the kata and we can do it with people. And then whenever they actually manage to run an international seminar again, we'll know all the kata.
It'll be a Zoom fest.
Oh, look, I had a conversation with Batiste online saying, would they consider doing an international seminar by Zoom? We just set up cameras, we record all the kata, everyone does their gradings and we send them in. It may end up having to be something like that. I mean, I don't know what it's like for you over there, Roger, but we don't have a lot of high-level Naginata sensei in Australia. So in order for anyone to grade here, I actually do video recordings for our group and send them up to Sydney to be graded. So, I think everyone's gotten so used to doing video sessions that maybe if people aren't able to travel internationally, we can look at maybe nudging the senseis.
Yeah, especially given the fact they're not. We are low grades. We're not.
Yeah.
It's not a serious grade we're grading for, shall we say?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can you do
And
the
considering
wacky
they
thing?
Yeah, and considering they kept taking all the bogu out of our gradings anyway, you know, it is all kata
Yeah.
and technique.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Can you do
Yeah,
the Can you do the wacky thing one more time?
the wacky. I'll
Do
try.
the wacky. So I was just thinking about something, and I think there's something. Yeah.
1, 2. So it gets pressed downwards.
No.
So I'm dropping back and then stepping through with the
Yeah.
right.
So
Does that seem?
yeah, I think I didn't move because you went back into wacky, whereas that time you did it, so that's fine.
Yeah, and that was my bad. So, but yeah, it does specifically say when they press down, you go backwards or step back. And I think I was thinking originally like that, but no, I think it's more bring the right foot and then come over with the right foot.
Yes.
Which makes more sense.
Good. Just
And this is, again, this is why I defer to you and Eduardo, because you have much more kendo experience than any of the rest of us here. So. But yeah, so if anyone wants to nominate a particular kata set for next Tuesday, and then I'll try and spend the rest of it on kihon or techniques so that we are kind of keeping a nice balance between the two. But yeah, I did just want to make sure we finished this set because then that's all 5 done.
Yeah, that was really good.
There's some nice kata in the Bokto ones. Some really nice techniques come up in this against the Mokuju as well. So it's nice to have that variety. Yeah. All right. Well, we're almost at the hour point. So unless anyone's got anything to add or anything on their mind. No?
Nope. All good.
Oh, good. All right. So yeah. So 6 o'clock Tuesday. As I said, nominate your favorite kata set, and then the rest of it will fill up with kihon and technique. Yeah.
Shouldn't it be nominate your least favourite kata set?
You can. If you're not intending to turn up and you want to make other people suffer, you can certainly nominate your least favorite.
No, because that's the one you need to practice. Sure.
True. But I mean, for me, I actually like the ones against other weapons. So Mokuju versus Tanken, Tai To, Tai To. They're the ones I know the least well, but I actually really enjoy. Because again, it's something different.
Yeah.
Yes. So nominate your favorite or your least favorite. I don't mind. Nominate something, whatever it is. And yeah, I'll spend a little bit more time on Tanken on Tuesday since we didn't do a lot of it tonight except for the kata. So yeah. All right.
No worries. Okay.
Nice to see
Thank you very much, Emily.
That's all
Thank
right. Yeah. And I hope you all have a good night.
No worries. See you, Roger. See you, Carolyn.
Thank you.
Thanks, Em.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.